Hey, educators. It's Miss Bone here. It is Monday, and oh my goodness, it's a long week already. And that's a sign when it's Monday and it's already a long week. So I know many of you have been using these wonderful slides for all of these awesome fraction lessons. And I thought today maybe we would stop and just take an opportunity to transfer some of the slides onto a Jamboard. Some of you might say, oh, this Bone Jamboard is so old. We know Jamboard, no big deal. So if you already know Jamboard and you transfer the slides to Jamboard and you do all that good stuff, then you don't need this video. But maybe you haven't used Jamboard. I use it all the time. And it's a really great way to get your remote students interactive, collaborating. We can talk about that more another day. It's a really great way to be able to give them instant feedback. I know a lot of times when they're remote, you're like, okay, they're working and then they just hand it in to me and I kind of have to look at it. With Jamboard, you can watch what they're doing while they work. So it's really actually super helpful to take some of these slides and turn them into Jamboards so you can be right there. It feels like you're right there in the classroom with them. So we're going to go to today's lesson because I saw a slide that was a wonderful opportunity to turn it into a Jamboard. I know with these virtual manipulatives that are on these slides, they're amazing. However, some of your scholars might still be having a hard time clicking and dragging them. And you might find yourself just, oh my goodness, I'm frustrated, they can't get it, they won't put it in the right place. So Jamboard is a perfect solution to that. Okay, so I am going to take this slide. First thing you're going to need to do, I got an update coming through right in the middle of my video. That happens. Let's get rid of that. Okay, the first thing you're going to do is open the screen or the picture that you want on the Jamboard. And this is the one we're going to turn into a Jamboard today. Okay, then you're going to open up jamboard.google.com. This is what it looks like. You're going to go back to that slide, and I'm on a Mac, so I'm going to take a screenshot. So I'm going to press Shift Command 4, get that nice little picture taking tool there. And I'm going to take my picture of the screen. So I've got a screenshot. And I'm going to go over to Jamboard and I'm going to put that screenshot on there. Now, I have trained my students not to touch the screenshots because you can put them, let me go get that screenshot. You can actually drag those screenshots right onto your Jamboard. But the issue with that sometimes is that the kids can move them around. So sometimes students who aren't super technologically savvy can erase the thing, and then you've got to go find the screenshot and put it back for them. So instead of doing that, if you're kind of new to Jamboard, you can go to set background in Jamboard and click on the image, and then you just browse. And I took a screenshot on my Mac. My screenshots are on my desktop. So just browse, find that last screenshot, and it actually sets that screenshot as your image. So they can't move it around, erase it. None of that happens. Okay, I'm in a new screen now. All righty. So once you have your image set, this slide, you turn it into a Jamboard. Instead of having the students have to move those little manipulatives around, they can actually go right over here and use a pen. They can write all over the Jamboard. They can put sticky notes all over the Jamboard. 3/8 is less than 3/4. They can save those sticky notes. I know a lot of my students love the little sticky notes because they just have to type on them. They don't have to do any manipulating with like the touch screen or trying to, using a virtual pen can be a little bit straining on our little fingers sometimes. So a lot of my students use the sticky notes, and they love, love, love them. So instead of having them move those manipulatives all around, you can just make any of these slides a Jamboard, and you've got the kids with their pens. And I know on this slide in particular, they are required to sort of break it up into halves. So instead of taking those little manipulatives and dragging them over, they're right here. And the kids can just, boom, break it up into halves. Next one is fourths. Tell them to always start with halves. Break those up into fourths. So it saves you some time, because I know it can be very time consuming to be dragging those little virtual manipulatives, as amazing as they are. And it can actually help your students sort of just really be in there, interacting with the slide, interacting with the work. They can draw the fractions themselves. You know, they're over here, their job is to do greater than, compare, and contrast these fractions. So greater than, less than, they just write it on there themselves. While you are in the slide with them, you can leave them little sticky notes for feedback. So it's super duper, duper, duper helpful. Educators, anytime you can turn any of these slides into Jamboards, I'm telling you, it will make you and your students' lives very, very collaborative and interactive. It's as close to the classroom as we can get. Good luck.